Tato, do you feel like you have a healthy work-life balance?
No.
Okay, that's your
I'm
problem.
trying to build I'm trying to build a department. I can't have a healthy work-life balance yet.
Me neither. I don't have a work-life balance. Henrietta, please don't include this part of the podcast. This just looks bad for our brand. Welcome to the 4Words podcast, brought to you by Four-Time Creatives, where we talk about entrepreneurs building creative collaboration. Today's episode, we're going to be focusing on the building content pillar, and I'm joined by the beautiful and magnificently brilliant and intelligent Tato Maja, aka Madam President. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Tato Maja. As Kate said, I am the marketing strategist here.
I didn't say that.
You did.
I didn't. But anyways, carry on. And I'm joined by the beautiful and magnificently brilliant and intelligent Tato Maja. Tato Maja.
Tato Maja.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
How did they get you in 4K?
My name is Tato Maja. I'm the marketing strategist here at Full-Time Creatives.
Thank you for joining me on this podcast today. So, guys, just to give you a brief rundown of what we're going to be chatting about, this space right now, specifically the marketing space, it's kind of led by technology because everything we do, we incorporate tech. You know, we incorporate the latest softwares, the latest updates, that type of thing. And most recently, we've been met with ChatGPT.
As an AI buff, I was so excited about this ChatGPT.
The group's definitely split. Half the people are in love with this thing, other half are terrified by it.
I think the reason a lot of people are scared is because it's such an advanced chatbot to have come out and have grown in popularity so quickly.
Yeah.
And another thing about these advanced AI softwares and these advanced AI systems is that it is very intimidating because the first thing you think of is, oh my goodness, my job is on the line, my lifeline is on the line, my livelihood is on the line. I'm going to become redundant in every sort of industry.
Sure.
But that's not the case.
The topic is going to be how AI is revolutionizing the market space and how you can make it work for you, whether it is in your day-to-day job currently or whether you feel like you should incorporate it or maybe you shouldn't. That's what the conversation is going to be about. Just to start off, let's get straight into it. What is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is basically a chatbot that you can talk to, right?
Basically, yes. It does more than that, though. So you can have it translate, you can have it generate text, you can have it code for you. So it's absolutely insane. What you do is you log on, you ask it a question. So it's very prompt-based, very similar to Google, but instead of having multiple avenues of getting different information, it pulls,
As in like search results.
yeah. So you don't get search results essentially. What it does is it will pull from various sources and it will generate a response based on what you've asked, based on the prompt. So generally how it works is the more detailed the prompt, the more detailed the response. But as vague as you get, it gives you sort of a general
Okay.
response.
And talk to me about the responses. Are they any language, any, like how do the responses get spat out? So if I put in there, if I log on and I say, okay, give me the perfect Instagram caption for a small business wanting to grow in South Africa.
So that's quite tricky because AI learns from data input. So it's not things that are human-centric or things that humans would be able to sort of gauge from perspective, like context type things, or what's the definition of perfection looks like, would vary because a perfect caption would look different for me and it would look different for you. So if you...
Does it give the same answer to everyone? So if we ask the same question, will it spit out the same answer? Because like, I mean, I'm thinking from a copywriter's perspective, from caption writing, that type of thing, it's not really going to be useful if everyone in the same industry has the same content. So how does that work?
No, so it won't give you the same response. It will pull most probably from the same data sources, but not so much give you the same answers. I think it's very unique in that sense because then you can generate new ideas, which is probably why it's been so appealing to people that work in the marketing space, because new ideas for new clients, for new issues. So very much the same, centered around the same knowledge, but not as copy paste. So it's also quite nice because it's 100% unplagiarized.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And just a side tidbit for any copywriters or any copy editors that are concerned, or any lecturers that are concerned about ChatGPT writing your students' essays or not being able to credit it. I saw a video and checked in an article. There was something about ChatGPT in its newer version coming out with like a watermark, but like a coded watermark. So if you copy the text,
smart.
if you copy the text, any plagiarism software will pick it up.
What is that software? Turn it in. Is
Turn it in.
So like Turn it in will probably pick up that it was mainly generated by Chat. Yeah, that's
I mean, so for my master's, there was a question I asked it, and it gave me a pretty decent answer, but especially in like academic spaces, it would be a bit of a problem, because how do you cite it? How do you reference that?
I just feel like if you're a teacher and you're teaching a bunch of grade 11s or 12s, and there's one Okimoloki who never submits good answers, and now he has this full written, perfectly worded, 0 spelling mistake essay.
Yeah.
You'll know.
You'll definitely
Like, you'll know.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, Steve.
Yeah. You didn't
happening.
read that. You don't use
Didn't write
conglomerates.
You
Please.
never use the word scrumptiddly on chat.
Never. A purr. Ever.
I hate us.
Scrumdiddly yum yum a purr.
So now that you guys have a very basic idea of what ChatGPT is, it's an AI bot that you can chat to. Think of it like a WhatsApp conversation with your mates, but very smart mates.
Yeah. Very, very smart.
Let's move into the space of discussing who ChatGPT will work for and what the uses could potentially mean in their industry. So tell me, who does ChatGPT work for industry-wise?
Very ambitious answer. I would say ChatGPT works for everyone, but realistically, on a day-to-day, I think it would work for people that have text-based jobs, like where a lot of text, a lot of analytics are needed. So off the top of my head, copywriting, it would help massively for copywriting, but there is a risk there of, becoming redundant, because if a chatbot can write a 300-word blog, then what is your actual job?
So from my understanding, it's best for people with large data entries.
Yeah.
So whether you are a copywriter or a data analyst, or you have 1,000 contacts to work through, or you have 150,000 reports to analyze or whatever, you can pretty much input whatever. And I think it's that like large scale information analysis that it's really good at.
Yeah.
Correct?
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
last thing I want to ask you, which I think we did forget, is this concept of AI being a tool and not a crutch. So, I mean, we've implemented it the second we had access to it. We were like, oh my goodness, just the fact that it could give us a base or a skeleton to work off of has cut a lot of our lead times in half.
Yeah.
Even more. But we still have to make edits after that. So from our side, I think I can speak to the fact that we use it often and it helps often, but it is definitely not replacing what we do. I think it's made our efficiency go up, skyrocketed, but it has definitely not been all or nothing. It's kind of like this in-between ground of using it, understanding how to use it, understanding what prompts we can actually give it that work, and then being able to fill that gap. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't just spit out answers. You have to know which questions to ask.
I think one of my favorite bits of discourse surrounding AI is that AI is going to take over the world, it's going to make us redundant, but at the same time, if you know how it's designed to be helpful. I mean, think of Siri. Siri is designed to help you find things faster, things that you can't necessarily type, so you just ask, hey Siri, X, Y, and Z.
Sure.
So it's supposed to be it's not supposed to replace anything, but I think knowing your value in the industry, knowing the value you add, I think it will help you switch from, oh no, I'm going to be replaced, to this is what AI can't offer, this is what I offer, and this is what I can continue to offer. And then using AI as a means to make you better.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just about like embracing what makes us human, and those spaces where your human interaction or your emotion or your empathy come in, that's where you should be specializing.
Yeah.
Like that's where it is going to make a big difference. In our industry, everyone can schedule social media posts. Everyone can design graphics. Everyone can write captions. But it's about who knows your client better.
Yeah.
Who understands the client better? Who understands the target audience
Who's done
better?
the groundwork.
Exactly. Who's done the groundwork? And that's what like makes us stand out from competitors, is how much we care about the brands we work with. That care can't be replaced by an AI system. You can't put into ChatGPT like, oh, we've cared about this client for 5 years. Please write a caption for them.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's like a positive way to look at it is in any industry that you're in, there's a reason why you were picked for that position, and you were probably competing against candidates who have exactly the same specialty as you. So what made you get the job? Maybe it was a human element of yourself. So maybe AI will just make us better humans.
I think
and less robotic.
Depends. If you're really robotic, it's done for you. Sorry.
Maybe it'll teach you some emotions, Tato. Nah.
I think there is some merit to the concerns about ChatGPT and AI taking over the world, but I don't think it's founded enough. These problems of the fourth industrial revolution is here, but it's already started. In some countries, it's been there.
We're fully operational in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also like, okay, you have AI. I think AI scares people because it's the closest tech that is human-like, you know. But there have been softwares that have been launched that have eliminated jobs now for years. You know, I mean, if we look at schedulers, if we look at these content idea generators where you put in a topic and it gives you like 50 million topics that are trending online, like those have all been launched already.
Yeah.
And they're already being used by us. So it is definitely about like finding the tools that can make you more efficient, which means you can take on more clients, which means you can do more work for those clients faster.
It's also a very big conversation within the AI space, within the ethics of AI space. Can you teach a bot? Can you teach AI human consciousness? And the biggest thing is, whose consciousness do you teach it?
Sure, because that's also subjective.
Yeah, that's also very subjective, which is why it's been very difficult. Even things that require just a little bit of human sensitivity.
Sure.
They've taught
empathy.
it. Yeah. For example, self-driving cars. Classic example within the ethics of AI. You teach it, okay, you protect the person in the car, but what happens if the person in the car is a dictator and the person in front of you who swerves because a truck was driving funny, you now kill the mother of 3 in front of you because it's
very dark.
It's but it's that type of thing. Like, whose life do you value? Like, how do you teach?
Drive safely, please, guys. If you teach your car to protect you, that's what it'll do.
Yeah.
But as a human, you make those decisions as you go. Like if
But
you're going to
it's very
swerve,
situational.
Yep. So then let's go into the limitations of ChatGPT. So obviously everyone is terrified of this thing, especially people in a space that is their job. So data analysts or copywriters or even like what do you call it? Like when people check copy editors. I think there's a lot of people in our industry and in our space that are really scared because it's like, is my job going to become redundant? Am I going to even be needed? So let's talk about some of the limitations.
So this is my favorite part of any fear-driven AI inventions, because realistically, AI is designed to be a tool to help us be better at our jobs, to help us be more efficient. And I will say this, it's very difficult to teach a machine emotions. So if I'm going to write an article, for example, I tested it last week. I said, write an article about the top 3 trends happening in social media. The limitation it did give me is that it didn't take into account what's happening currently, but it did pick up trends that have happened and trends that did perform well. In that same breath, it did write an article, but tone was off, jargon was off, it was very repetitive.
But like the scary thing about ChatGPT is then you can just ask it to fix it. Like
I didn't.
Is it?
It didn't fix it as nicely as I would. So I mean, it does take time to learn my prompts. It does take time to learn what my tone is and all of that. But it did help me massively because I had a skeleton of how I wanted it structured. And then I could go in and input and say, okay, these 3 sentences, don't like them, don't like how they're constructed. But
in terms of like tone and emotion, I mean, I've asked it to write a caption for people under the age of 25 and use lingo relative to them, and it will. Like it'll incorporate TikTok lingo and it'll be like, purses, yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
I hear you. I hear you. There are limitations.
I mean, things like write a birthday message for Kate about our time together.
Sure. I mean, it's not going to know your memories.
Yeah. But even a client of ours writes a caption about the wedding industry and congratulating a new bride. It was shallow. It was cold. It was cold. I mean, it wrote about congratulations on your beautiful day and having a magical experience.
Let's actually input in this podcast right now. What I want you to do after we record is go and ask it to write an emotional paragraph about a bride and like finding their new dress. And let's put up what it puts there.
Cool.
Okay, we'll plug it in here. Let's see how emotional this thing gets. I think another two limitations that I've come across is understanding intent and context.
Yeah.
So you might ask it to write a caption about a bride. It doesn't have the context about which bride it is.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that bride is tried 1,000 dresses on and only you knew that. So at the end of the day, it can take you really long to get the prompt that you want because you actually need to explain to this bot exactly what happened for you to want this, this output.
But even still, there was a book I read, and I wanted to share some of my thoughts about that book, and I asked it to, just out of curiosity, write a caption explaining giving a brief summation of the book.
Okay. You obviously put like the book title and everything.
The book title, the author, what I rated it. So basically I gave it a skeleton of what I wanted it to look like. So it had the book's rating, it had the author, it had the name of the title, it had one of my favorite characters from the book.
Okay.
Right? Those 4 things. And it wasn't as well constructed as I would have liked it, but it did give me a pretty decent skeleton foundation of what I wanted to work on.
I mean, that's how I've been using it. Yeah. I've very rarely used what it spat out exactly as is. Like I always make edits because it is like just that additional, you know your client, you know what you're trying to spit out, and it won't be what you want it to be unless you know, unless you made a few edits.
That's where the split between AI stopping and humanness comes. Like human emotion comes in.
Homo sapienness.
Where our emotions come into play because
and understanding like who you're working with.
Yes.
I mean, okay, take it from maybe that's what when you said like tech or data, that space, there is no emotions to that work. So if you're just sourcing through coding, or if you're wanting it to check like a certain paragraph for you, whatever, if there's no emotion attached to it, I think
it works brilliantly. Like if you wanted to check why your code isn't running, you can copy your code into it and say, why is my code not running? And it will tell you why it's not running. It's brilliant for things like that, for finding solutions. But as for writing for people, it can write to people, but writing for people, I think that's where ChatGPT struggles quite a bit.
I'm even thinking about like the way we go about creating content for our clients. A lot of the content ideas we come up with from knowing our clients, and like knowing the type of like the target audience they're trying to reach. So like think about TikTok. When we come up with TikTok ideas, it's usually a trend that we have to rework. What I want to try ask it is put in a TikTok trend, like a link to a TikTok video, and say like, can you make this relevant to the social media industry? And see if it can actually like adjust the, you know what I mean? I don't think it'll be able to do that. I also want to see what it'll spit out if I ask it to give me good South African jokes. You know what I mean? Like they'll be really cringy. The last point I want to make, I think we've spoken about it on our socials like a couple of times, but it's this idea of like revenue generating activities. And I think like with any job ever, there's like crappy parts and there's fun parts, right? So in the creative space specifically, a lot of the stuff we need to do happens in our head, but there is this massive admin related side. And I think that AI and ChatGPT helps us focus more on those revenue generating activities. Your revenue generating activities is not going to be writing captions. You know, it's not going to be sourcing through 15,000 contacts to figure out which ones have the error. Like that's not going to be what makes you money in this world anymore. I'm sorry. So I think like ChatGPT and AI in general in any space, look at it as a way for you to now focus on the things that make you a really good employee, a really good service provider, a really good boss, a really good leader, a really good teammate. Like focus on the things that actually make you level up in your profession and in your life. And I think that's how I'm looking at it, is that now that I don't have to sit and source through everyone's flipping spelling mistakes along with Vanya. Well, actually Vanya does that. I don't really do that. Now I don't have to go and sit and try brainstorm 50 content ideas for a client. I can at least have a base. I can at least have a starting base. So I think it's about that. Focus on the things that make you more money and replace things with AI where it makes sense.
Yeah. And in the same breath, the onus is on us to not let it make us become redundant. So
upskilling.
Upskill yourself. Find more ways to be better at your job. find unique ways to be better at your job. Things like,
and I think like in every industry, there's a shift towards like personalization and customization of services. Everyone wants to feel like they're the best person in the room, and AI gives you the space to do that. If you're a business owner and you have zero touch points with your customers because you've been spending your day behind your laptop, maybe AI can replace that so you can actually visit some of your stores. You can actually go in and interact with some of your customers. So I think the worst thing you can do in the space, the worst thing, is to pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere, and that's the worst thing you can do. Yeah. Vanya enters the room.
My one hot take would be, and I think I saw it on LinkedIn the other day, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. People shouldn't be afraid of AI. They should be afraid of people using AI when they are not.
Yeah.
If you are in the professional space and you're intimidated by AI, you shouldn't be concerned about AI taking your job. You should be concerned about someone else using AI taking your job.
Yeah, definitely.
Mic
Oh,
drop.
hectic.
To summarize and to sum up, ChatGPT is here. It's happening. It's not going away.
No.
It's going to be here. I think there's a new version coming out that's going to be 10 times better. All these limitations we've spoken about, the fact that it can't understand necessarily human emotion, your intent, your context, and it doesn't have your memories. It doesn't have your human interaction. I think those are all limitations. Those might be erased in the next version. Like I know you said, emotion is really hard to teach a bot, but it's not something that they're not working on, which is scary.
They've been working on it since what?
Long ago.
Ages. I would say decades.
A long time. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us. We loved having you here. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Drop us a comment, drop us a DM if you have any topics you want us to chat about moving forward. If there's any questions you have, let us know. We're here 8 to 5 during the week and also on Sundays usually because we panic for Monday. You work on a Sunday, don't lie.
I do, like after 2 o'clock.
Anyways,
Bye.
thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Drop us a DM, a comment if you have anything you'd like us to chat about. And we'll see you next time. Bye.